Women in politics are at odds. Nico Payne is in our satellite center with this story tonight. Nico.
That's right, Sarah. A group known as Malas sent a letter to the Democratic Women of the Desert. They accused the group of putting more money towards male candidates in this election cycle than women, as well as putting out harmful attack ads against young progressive women.
Delgado didn't file her campaign reports on time, as it is required by the law. She also lies, saying she's a teacher from a school from her community.
This is the attack ad that was running on radios in Coachella ahead of the November 3rd election. Denise Delgado denies the claims in the ad, and she went on to win a seat on city council despite the ad. The ad was paid for by the Democratic Women of the Desert and also targets Leslie Figueroa. She lost the Coachella mayor's race to Stephen Hernandez.
Rather than really believing in the values of the Democratic Party, the values of people who run for these positions, it's disappointing, right? And it can also dissuade people in the future from wanting to run.
The advocacy group Mala says the ad is indicative of the Democratic Women of the Desert's increasingly less women-focused nature. Malas also points to the fact that Democratic Women of the Desert endorse men over qualified women running in the same races, like Emmanuel Martinez and Neftali Galarza over Denise Delgado. The president of the Democratic Women of the Desert says they simply endorse the candidates that are best for the city, regardless of gender.
I don't see men that share my values and that share my interests and my goals as my enemies. They're my allies. We don't support women just because they're women. They have to offer something to our community.
Dozens of women leaders signed on to this letter, including 2 elected officials that made historic moves in the 2020 election. Christy Holstage became the first female mayor of Palm Springs, and Karina Quintanilla became the first Latina on Palm Desert City Council.
No one's asking any group to endorse women just because they're women, and no one expects that. Everyone understands we want highly qualified candidates regardless of their gender.
Democratic Women of the Desert went out of their way to attack 2 women, first-time candidates. This is the whole intent and mission of the organization, and to do so to support 3 gentlemen.
Finally, Malas points to the fact the Democratic Women of the Desert spent more than $6,500 supporting male candidates compared to the just over $2,700 supporting female candidates in this election cycle.
We look in terms of how it's going to affect the community, especially the community in Coachella, Desert Hot Springs, some of the other communities.
But for Christy Holstage, she said it was disappointing to see the Democratic Women of the Desert resorting to attack ads.
Women like me and others were facing really nasty, misogynistic attacks just because we were women running for office. And to see Democratic Women of the Desert actually perpetuating those attacks, so doing attack ads against female candidates, that just crosses a line.
Nico Payne, NBC Palm Springs.
The Supreme Court appears to be siding with religious groups in California. They say their First Amendment rights are violated by government.